little cheeky transfer roundup for you today, although I don't know what the difference between a cheeky transfer roundup and a normal transfer roundup is, but we'll try and go with it. I think the stories that are a little bit different today suggest that we have actually made two bids for players, two proper bids for players. The first one is Matias Soulé, who you've heard a lot about. We had Cal on the other day over on the main channel with Gio discussing just quite why he thought he was such a good player. And he is. He's an incredible player. I know you can't place too much by highlight reels and stuff like that, because really what you get is it's quite funny actually. I was going to say, because what you get is just everybody's best bits. I remember when Said Benrahma left, and Benrahma was a really, really good player and a great technical ability. But I remember when he left, somebody had said, sort of, welcome to Olympique Lyonnais, Said Benrahma, and they put together all these best clips from West Ham. And if you'd have watched it, you would have thought it was Ronaldinho and not somebody that West Ham were looking to sell. So I am a bit mindful that I've only seen Matias Soulé's best bits, but, if you pardon the expression, but for people that are actually more in the know than I am, apparently he's a very, very good player. I think the interesting thing with this is the valuation. So apparently, according to a couple of Italian media sources, West Ham have bid £20 million, right? Now, Juventus want 35 million. So you'd think, well, that's quite a big difference, isn't it? The thing is, Juventus are skint, and there's a really weird thing going on with Juventus at the moment. So you remember Philips Kostic, who we were linked with, played against England the other night until he got injured, didn't he? David Moyes really wanted him. He played against us when he played for Frankfurt. Really, really good delivery. Magic wand of a left foot. That's a good cliche, isn't it? He's got one of those. David Moyes wanted him, and then, well, it didn't happen. He went to Juventus, and Juventus are leaking a lot of stories at the moment. So Juventus are leaking the fact that we're back in for Kostic, and I don't believe that we are. I just don't believe that rumour at all. But they're putting it out there. I think there's been another one suggesting that actually we're in for Arthur. I think it's easy to link West Ham with players, and it becomes sort of half believable transfer gossip, because West Ham are one of the few clubs that ever got a little bit of money. Not tons, but we do have a little bit of money because of the financial fair play. We've done all right because we've sold players and just, you know, we've cut our cloth and been a little bit careful, and we paid tuppence for our stadium rather than a massive upkeep for it. So I think we're an easy link. But what is clear is that Juventus are absolutely skint, completely and utterly skint. They need to generate funds, so I think they're probably trying to create a little bit of a public auction for a lot of their players. But I mean, you know, I'd be surprised if we're in for all those three players. Solet, Matias Soulé, really, really good player, but it's not a priority position for West Ham. We are well stocked in wide areas. We really, really are. And what the club have said within the last couple of days, that the priority is a striker and a centre-back. And of course, let's not forget two centre-backs. So, you know, some of this transfer stuff is maybe, you know, more believable than some of the other stuff. Roma, talking about strikers, Roma want £25 million for Tammy Abraham. I'm not so sure about that. I don't know why. I've never been fully convinced by the player. Although, you know, fair play to him for going out to Italy, and I think too few English players go out and do that, and I do like to see it. Another striker who we've been linked with for quite a while. It's not Youssef En-Nesyri standards, but we've been linked to him for quite a while, is Ivan Toney. Now, it appears that Tottenham have bid £40 million for him. Brentford are holding out for 55. That rules us out completely. I don't mind. Honestly, I don't mind. And I don't think West Ham have got £55 million to spend on a striker. Fair play to Brentford. If they can get £55 million for him, particularly out of Daniel Levy, then you've got to say fair play on that one. But, you know, we're looking for other strikers. I'd like us to go. I think he may be 28 now, Ivan Toney. Possibly he's 29 this year. I might have that slightly wrong, but I'm not loads out. I haven't got it totally wrong. It's not like he's 19 or something. I'm about right. And I just wonder if that's really what we need to be doing at the moment. I think that's. I'd like the link with Samu Omorodion. I think that is a really, really good link for us. I think you're looking at potential. I think you're looking at promise. I think Sehu Girassi is probably the best option at the moment. But again, you know, he's no spring chicken. I think if we want to get ourselves a spring chicken, then Omorodion, whatever he is, he's definitely a spring chicken, irrespective of how I might mispronounce his name. Now, what's interesting in that is Atletico Madrid have come out and said, no, we're keeping him now. And this is off the back of West Ham making a bid that they deemed to be too low, and the player himself changing his agent supposedly to force through a move to West Ham. Now, you know what? You can change agents for any number of reasons, much not like your agent. You change your agent. You change your agent to try and force through a move to a club, or you change your agent to get yourself a better deal at your current club. So I think all things are possible at this time in terms of that transfer. But I would like to think that would be a good one. I would quite like that to happen. Believe it or not, there's quite a few more. Before we get to them, can I please point you in the direction of today's video sponsor, which is Match Bingo. I'm pointing to both areas. I'm not exactly sure where the logo is going to go at this point. We'll deal with that in editing. I'm just covering my bases. Why should you download Match Bingo? Well, it's brilliant. That's why it gives you the opportunity to win money without really spending any or much at all. It is a betting app, so it's for 18 years and over. But unlike a lot of these betting accounts, you can't basically spend all your holiday funds on betting, because there is £2 per game. It's basically bingo. They've mixed football and they've mixed bingo. So what happens is you get a bingo card, and it's still running throughout Euro 2024. And on that bingo card, you get 15 events which can happen. Headers, shots, hitting the post, bookings, substitutions. They give you your card, and as the match goes on, it ticks it off for you. We have had over 50 winners just from you guys who watch Hammers Chat alone. In fact, far more than that. We've had people win 25 quid. We've had people win the £500 pot. No one's told us yet if they've won the £1,000 pot yet, but I guess we will stick around. I'm sure we'll find out. There's always a free game each and every week, particularly during Premier League season. You've already had it for this week, I'm afraid, the free game, but there are a lot of games coming up all throughout the remainder of the week on Match Bingo. Download the app, use the link below. I know you've come from Hammers Chat. Start playing it. £2 per game, and keep your eyes out for some of the other stuff that's on there, like the cricket, like the darts. Lots of free games on all that stuff too. Check it out in the link below. Right, I've got 2 words for you. Ryan Sessegnon, remember him? Yeah, you might not do. But he was the next big thing. You remember, next big thing from Fulham. We were linked with him a lot, but then in the end he went to Spurs for 30 million. Bit rich for us, that was. Versatile player, good player, and do you know what? He's had his time at Spurs. He really has. But he's also had some bad runs of form, or bad runs of injury at Spurs. But there was a point where he looked absolutely brilliant. It looked like Spurs, I think it was possibly under Conte, that looked like Spurs were going to see that £30 million player. Anyway, left back, versatile. He's out of contract. Jacob Steinberg, who of course is a journalist for The Guardian, he has written and confirmed that West Ham holds serious interest in this player. This is an interesting one for me, because Steinberg says in his article that Sessegnon ticks the homegrown quota rule, which he absolutely does. But I find it an odd one, because that's why we were signing up on Aaron Cresswell, basically. Aaron Cresswell's a left-back who ticks the homegrown quota rule. No European football next season. Emerson, Aaron Cresswell, possibly re-signing Ben Johnson again. Do we need? He can play at left back, obviously. Do we need another one? I would think not. I find that one a hard one to believe. I'm not suggesting Jacob Steinberg hasn't been told that. I'm sure he's been well briefed on that one. He does have good contacts within the club, but I would be very surprised. He's versatile though. Very versatile, so he can play anywhere down that left-hand channel. So, very good player, though. Very good, technically good player. It's suggested we're going to battle it out with Spurs and Aston Villa for Ferran Torres. Now, this was interesting, because I always do, before doing these videos, I have a little read-up just to make sure... well, clearly it's not so as I can pronounce people's names correctly. But just to make sure, what clubs people are at, and make sure the story is active and they haven't suddenly signed for somebody else. And I read Ferran Torres' sort of bio. Obviously, he was at Man City, as you'll remember. 24. I don't know why. I guess because I think there was a lot of hype surrounding him when he was at Valencia. 24. It's a lot younger. I don't know why. I just thought he was older than that. Barcelona, again, like many others, much like Juventus, they need to sell before they can buy. So, I guess watch his space. Again, I can't imagine really we're gonna. I can't imagine we're going to buy another wide player just yet. We're okay at left back. We're okay at wingers, which is why I said the same about Matias Soulé. I do think we probably need to get that striker on board and get that centre back on board. And I would definitely agree with what the club are saying, that they want to prioritise that. We are keen on Salzburg's Oumar Solet. I'm not going to start singing, don't worry. We've been linked to him before, of course. Linked with him again. It's so hard to know what our what our recent transfer links and what's just rehashed load of old nonsense. I certainly think that's the case with the Kostic link. I do think it's a load of rehashed old nonsense, basically. So there you go. There's your transfer roundup for today. It shows no sign of relenting, but you know what? I guess you're going to get it. And you think about it, this is in the middle of a European Championships. They don't even need to do this stuff to fill the column inches. So I'm not sure how much of this stuff is going to be made up. Imagine how bad it would be. I say bad, I actually quite enjoy it. I do enjoy transfer gossip. I don't know why I was pretending that I didn't, but you could imagine how much of it there would be if there wasn't a distraction of international football going on. So yeah, there you go. Very, very interesting. I don't know if you've been. It's worth talking about Jarrod Bowen because he's a story, isn't he, at the moment? Not just for West Ham, but for England. There's some pretty nice stuff coming out with Jarrod Bowen and a lot of stories surrounding him as well. And I'm really, really pleased, really chuffed for him. He has played for England at a major tournament now, and I'm really hopeful that he's going to be one of Southgate's go-to players. So there you go. Well, enjoy the rest of the football you're watching. I'll catch up with you tomorrow.